No, matter what, are not justifiable.
Before you go to the next point,
yes,
you said the government has failed us, and you cannot turn around and begin to want to punish me for your failure.
Yes,
I mean, for my reaction to your failure.
That doesn't justify crime. It just shows that the fact that the government has failed us would affect some people, you know, in some way. For example, some people have the moral compass to know that, okay, even with the fact that things are not working, I shouldn't commit a crime. But you can't, that doesn't work for everyone.
Okay, hold it there. I will come back to you to tidy up that thing you're talking about, because you still trying, but we've actually done it. Welcome back. So, Amala, you were talking about reaction to failures of governance.
Yes. So, okay, I have to state now that I do not absolve, I'm not trying to justify crime, but I am saying that there would always be that percentage of society whose reaction to this failure of government would be to turn to crime.
So they can get the death penalty?
I do not support the death penalty. I would always say that. I do not. I feel like alternatives.
Since they decided to react to failures of governance by committing a crime that's, how do you put it now in legal terms?
Kill unlawfully.
Unlawfully, unlawful killing.
Yes, they're involved in unlawful killing. They should get the death penalty.
Well, I personally think that the death penalty might be something that people find as, like, you know, appropriate punishment. But I would always say that I feel like it's too permanent a punishment for a system that can be flawed.
And so you said life imprisonment.
Yes.
Now, the prisons are congested.
Yes.
And so if we have to keep people who the law has been found to be guilty of murder and should die, you understand, and we have to keep them for as long as they are alive, how do we manage, you know, the system too? Some people say, and you mentioned, taxpayers' money, my money you want to use to keep this man alive or this woman alive who has deliberately taken innocent life.
Okay. So right now, there is the death penalty and prisons are congested. The idea is for our government
so you want it to be
to do the right thing, build more. See, if we create more facility, to accommodate these people, like I tell you, the death penalty for me is too permanent a solution to a flawed system.
You were talking about
I would say that, yes, I would say that, okay, now, the government should just do better. Now there's the death penalty, and the prisons are still congested. If we have enough facilities, we would be able to create a position for that. We might not be mature enough as in terms of infrastructure to abolish the death penalty, but I feel like if we get to where we need to get to as a people, it would be a possibility.
Mr. Dani.
Yes, we have a bail system in our law. If you commit an offense, no matter the offense, even including murder, it's just that the bail terms and the persons that can grant the bail are different. If it is a murder, it is only the judge of the High Court that can grant you bail. And it's and they can decide not to grant you bail. So, if bail is granted and the accused persons cannot perfect the bail, that is, perfect the formalities to come out, that is, you can't blame that on the system. That is therefore. So, prison congestion is basically because, one, the prosecutorial aspect of cases. They don't have prosecutor to prosecute cases. Cases are adjourned ultimately. That is number one. Number two, bails are granted. It is difficult to perfect bail. Number three, what you call holding charges. People have committed an offense that the magistrate cannot hear. They take them to the magistrate. The magistrate will just say put them on remand while we are waiting for DPP's advice for the High Court to take up the matter, and that could take another 2 years. These are the causes of prison congestion. And I agree with my colleague that the prisons authority can build more facility. But I've heard of prisons authority claiming that they have built facility. And even showing it on television, and I was at the prison, and there were no such facilities. I've seen that.
Okay, but look at me. We're winding down. Solutions, alternatives.
Honestly speaking, my alternative is basically to see how we are going to empower our people. That's my take. We should still see how to empower people in such a way that people will not want to go into crime. Because in terms of, if you say, okay, let even remove the issue of death penalty, and we say, okay, let's expand our prison. What we want as a nation, is it that to keep
people in prison?
To keep on putting people in prison? That shouldn't be the case. So my take is that we should still find a way. We should look deep inward to see why people go into crime. And as a government and as an individual, because it's, again, like I was asking her, that's who is the government? It's the people. One person, the president, the governor, the minister, or people in the National Assembly and the government, is those individuals. What are we doing in our own little way to ensure that people do the right thing? So I think if we can do that and empower people more in our own little way, then the issue of crime will be reduced.
Tanzania.
Yes, I support the death penalty for those that kill unlawfully. I commend the Lagos State government. I won't blame the governor because he has an Attorney General and the Commissioner for Justice who's supposed to advise. And the law, the bill was passed by the lawmakers who are supposed to know law. So they ought to know that there are existing laws that take care of all these things. The governor just wants to show Lagosians that he's ready to meet their demands, he's ready to tackle insecurity and all that. So to that extent, I commend him. I want to say that we need to make more effort to prevent commissions of crimes. The leaders and those that are being led are almost equally guilty of the problem we have. Yes. And I think if we can improve on the prosecution of cases and the perfection of bail terms, and we will reduce, we would have addressed the issue of prison congestion. So I support the death penalty for those that, in fact, it would have been for those that kidnap, as it was done in Edo State. For those that kidnap, but in Lagos State, those that kidnap, if the victim did not die, it's practically encouraged. It's going to practically even encourage kidnapping. He did die, he didn't die now. So
live imprisonment.
Well, live imprisonment is not easy.
That's taking away life.
Yes, it's not easy to get the ultimate penalties in most of these laws. The judge has his discretion. It's not that it must be, if for instance it's your first time, the judge might want to look at your alukutus, that is your plea and all that. So I think they should have copied what Edo State did. If you kidnap, dead.
Omolara, quickly.
That would be a rather emotional response, and the law cannot be emotional. Now
we have a law like that, Edo State.
I know. I'm saying that law is an emotional response. It's, okay. Well, now I would say it is good that people are looking into ways to deter people from committing crime. Yes, I would say that Nigerians should try as much as possible to not turn to crime. We know that the government has failed us. We know that things are not working at the moment, but there are other ways to live life without committing crime. I also want to encourage government and lawmakers to please let us spend time and energy on implementing the existing laws that we have and not duplicate these laws, because this will not help anyone. Government needs to focus more on working the system than looking nice to us.
Okay, thank you so much for
read out this tweet before you close. He says, I agree with the women. Police in Nigeria lack, this Alexander Kuye, police in Nigeria lack investigation experience. A lot of innocent people have died. And then he says, look at the guns from the kidnappers. Instead of the guns to be bagged up for forensic evidence, but instead they leave it in the sun, it gets cross-contaminated, and then they execute those boys. He says, when was the last time Nigerian government built a prison? They need more safe and reliable prisons.
Yes, I do not support the death penalty.
Okay, thank you so much. We've been speaking with social entrepreneur, coordinator, Safe Mom and Child Initiative, Olukemi Adeyoju, also Chief Tony Daniel, rights activist and social commentator, and of course Omolara Oriye, Director, Human Rights and Advocacy, the Initiative for Equal Rights. Good to have you, all of you here, and thank you for coming. And so Sunrise will be back in a moment. Just stay with us.